So, as I mentioned in my first video, there's a lot of different factors that you need to look at when it comes to selecting your gear. I was lucky enough, as far as the majority of my gear that I'll take, it's either gear that I use or it's gear that was sponsored by Todd Security. So I have an equipment sponsor for my climb and my other climbs that I do. And so I've been fortunate enough to go with some of the higher quality gear. What I do when I'm looking for new gear is I tend to do a lot of research online, first to weed out and get my short list. My short list is based on reviews, based on what I need it to do, and based on the weight. So I tend to try and go lighter on the weight, and I'm willing to pay a little bit of an extra premium to go that way. So down versus synthetic in some cases. And it's amazing when you do it. If you put your spreadsheet together and with all the gear that you need and then actually weigh it, it's amazing what some gear actually weighs, and some things that may be just a nice to have, you'll look at it and it'll weigh 300 grams or it'll weigh 1.2 kilograms. A pair of pants, really thick pants, can all of a sudden weigh almost a kilogram. Well, if you've only got 15 kilograms worth of porter weight, all of a sudden 1 kilogram pair of pants is a lot. So I'm lucky again in that a lot of my gear tends to be on the lighter side. But I have paid a premium for that, and I'm lucky because I do have an equipment sponsor. So again, it all depends on what your budget is. So the first pack that I'll go through is I'm going to go through my porter pack. So this is the pack that basically the porters carry up on the mountain. And as you'll notice on some of the other videos, people have it all laid out on a nice sterile sheet and to do the video. The reason why I'm not doing that is because my gear is packed and ready to go, because I do use it on a regular basis. So this, although my climb for Kili isn't for 5 weeks, I'm quite frequently going into this gear and grabbing it. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a large duffel bag. What you're looking at is around a 100-liter bag. As you can see, the size of this duffel bag just fits all of my gear. And that's also using compression sacks. So if I wasn't using compression sacks, I would actually need a larger bag. For most of the outfitters, they recommend a waterproof bag, but most do actually put these duffel bags inside of another waterproof duffel bag. So it's not 100% required. All of my gear, about 90% of it, is all from Mountain Equipment Co-op. I live in the Philippines, but I'm from Canada, and that's where I get most of my gear. So most of it is MEC branded. But again, you just need to find that outfitter. I recommend MEC or REI or some of the full service outfitters rather than going to different places, because when you put your list together of all the things you need, from medications to toiletries to clothing to electronics, etc., you're going to find that your list is really long. So being able to go to a full service shop that often does online ordering, etc., will save you a lot of hassle. So I'm just going to basically pull out all my gear out of the bag here and just go through it. Some of my stuff goes in the category of nice to have, so by no means is this the minimum required list, and I'll try and highlight those things. But basically what we have here is we just have stuff sacks. You should have lots of different stuff sacks, whether they just be plastic bags, save some money, just use regular plastic bags, grocery bags, garbage bags, Ziploc bags. You should have various different sizes and a lot of them. You're going to want to put dirty clothes in them. You're going to want to put snacks or compartmentalize your different items in order to assist you, so you're not having to dig through your stuff all the time. Dirty shoes. Again, they don't weigh a lot, and they make your life a lot easier. So have a lot. You'll see as I pull out my gear, I have tons of these sacks. For me, these are my day hiking shoes. What you need to have is you need to have a pair of shoes to wear around the camp. These are just regular running style shoe hikers. And I use these around the camp. I also use these if I'm going to have to cross any water. They dry very quickly, and they're a little bit all-purpose. So if I am in the camp and I do want to go for a quick walk or whatever, They're not like the regular booties that you wouldn't be able to do so in. That being said, I do have hut booties. Now these are nice to have. You have one or the other. Really, you should just have your main hiking boots, and then a second pair for wearing at camp. So you can take your feet out of those hiking shoes and let them relax a little bit. These hut booties, they can be used outside. These are down-filled, so they're very light. They pack down. They do have a grip on them, so that I can wear them around. They can be worn in snow or even wet weather. But mostly what I'll do is I'll be wearing these in the tent to keep my feet warm. And I can even wear these in my sleeping bag as long as I don't actually wear them outside. Definitely a nice to have and not required. Right here is just my thermal, I guess my 1 liter portable water. This is just a thermos for it. What this does is assists on summit night or anytime you want to put in any hot liquid or whatever. Keeps it warm for longer, keeps the water from freezing. Definitely a nice to have, but not required by any means. Again, small stuff sacks. In this one here, this is kind of just a general toiletries one. So for myself, I do carry usually a regular roll of toilet paper, but I do buy these nice individually wrapped toilet paper ones. I find these are nice. Throw in my backpack. I throw 1 in per day. For my actual day pack, throw 1 in per day. They stay nice in these plastics, don't tend to get as dirty or wet as quick. The worst thing you want to have is a single roll of toilet paper planned for your whole trip, and then have some water get into it and wreck it. So these keep them nice and dry, and I know that I've got a good supply of toilet paper to help combat some of the nasty effects of being in altitude and lots of soups. Q-tips. I'm going to dump my gear out. Camp soap. Hand sanitizer. I've got a few of these. And again, these are ones that I carry in my porter bag. I do have quite often another set. A little bottle of mouthwash. It's my toothbrush that actually has an integrated bottle of toothpaste inside of it. So that's kept there. Water treatment, I use a dual system, not iodine. Pros and cons for both. This one here, you have to mix the two of them, leave them for a little while, then pour it into the water. But it doesn't have the same iodine taste. Eye goggles for sleeping at nighttime. This is underarm and foot deodorant. Basically, it's a nice combination underarm deodorant to keep me from getting really smelly after 6-7 days of no shower. But it also doubles. You can put it on your feet to keep your feet dry. So I like it. It's a nice powder, fairly lightweight, and dual purpose. A small little mirror. Again, I'm a guy with short hair. That's about the mirror all that I need for keeping myself looking pretty. And a nail brush. One of the things that you'll find on the mountain, depending if you're wearing gloves all the time, is that your fingernails will get quite dirty. So, and that's pretty much it as far as kind of my toiletry pack that I keep inside my porter bag. Again, the big thing when you're packing your gear is to remember that the gear that goes inside of your porter bag isn't going to be accessible during your hike. So anything that you anticipate needing during your actual day hike, you'll want to make sure that that's included in your day hiking bag. But you do have to play and watch the weights that you're going to have, so you don't want to have it too heavy for your day hiking pack by having everything under the sun. So it's one thing that that's nice though, is that you can try it if you don't have a lot of history or experience with hiking. Try it on day one. Maybe go heavier or lighter with the amount of gear that you take, and you can always refactor that as you go throughout the climb. Quite often the guides and porters will give you assistance and kind of let you know what to expect the following day. And always reach out for other climbers that are more experienced. Right here is basically my sleeping pack. So this is my stuff sack for my sleeping bag, and inside of it it's nice in that I'm able to store a lot of other materials. So I have a silk liner for my sleeping bag. You can have synthetic or silk. The synthetic or fleece ones tend to be warmer, but they also tend to be larger and heavier. The silk ones are lighter, although they don't provide as much warmth other than keeping the inside of your sleeping bag cleaner, which reduces the amount of times you have to take your sleeping bag to get it cleaned. Now, if you're using a down sleeping bag, you definitely want to reduce the amount of times that you have to get your bag dry cleaned or specially cleaned. So this is really just a liner to keep it clean, but it does add a little bit of warmth at night. Right here is my basically my sleeping pad. Sorry. There's two styles of sleeping pads. There's foam sleeping pads, and then there's inflatables. Some are self-inflatable. Some of them are really thick, and then there's the foam ones. I've chose to go with an inflatable. What I like about this again is the size. So this is a full-size adult foam. This is kind of one of the more top of the line ones. This one here has different compartments inside of it. It's got thermal sheeting inside, but again, it's not going to be as comfortable as a thicker foam, but I like it again for the size and the weight. It's extremely light. An absolute spoiled thing, this isn't a must-have at all, but Thermarest has a nice little, for their Neo Air line, has a nice little pump. So nice and small, it weighs almost nothing, takes 2 AA batteries, and it inflates your mattress in about 20 seconds. What is good about this is that if you do have an air mattress that isn't self-inflating, that requires you to blow into it, every time you blow into it, you're going to be introducing bacteria and moisture. So what you will find is, as time goes on, the more times you inflate it, especially if you don't dry it out properly or clean it, you are going to get a smell, an odor, and you're going to get moisture build up inside. Moisture building up inside reduces its insulation effectiveness. So the nice thing about the pump is that it doesn't introduce bacteria and doesn't introduce moisture into it. So it does increase the longevity of your mattress. Pillow, again, nice and small. This basically just expands into a small size pillow. Some people like the blow-up pillows. Again, they're even smaller. They take no room at all and almost no weight. I don't like the blow-up ones. I actually like to have a pillow. Some people, depending on how much room they have, and if they have a really big bag, taking a full-size or almost full-size pillow, for some people, if that's going to get you a really good night's sleep, then hey, you know what, do it. For me, this is fine. I use a mummy-style sleeping bag, so I don't really have a lot of room in the head area anyways for a full-size pillow. And then inside of here is basically my sleeping bag. So I don't think I really need to pull this out, but I use a mummy style. Again, definitely you want to try out sleeping bags. Know what type of style sleeper you are. Some people get very claustrophobic inside of mummy style sleeping bags. They should just basically fit your size. You shouldn't have a whole lot of extra space. The more extra space you have, you can end up getting colder. So you do want them to basically be sized to your body. If you're 5 feet tall, you don't want to have a 6 foot long sleeping bag. So definitely try them out in the store, or if you've got any experience with it. Mummy versus the standard size. It's a big thing to know before you go out and buy a mummy if you find out that you can't hack a mummy style sleeping bags. Mummy style sleeping bags are better for people that sleep or can sleep all night on their back. If you do like to roll around or sleep on your side, sometimes a mummy bag isn't the greatest, but it all depends. You do want to get a sleeping bag that's good to about -10 to -20 degrees Celsius. Really, again, with sleeping bags, the heavier they are, the more insulation they have, the more warm you'll be. But there's the trade-off of the weight and the size of them. So for myself, I went with a down-filled because it packs quite small. This is, again, a full adult-sized sleeping bag. Weighs almost nothing, and gets me a good warmth. Does come at a cost, though. There is a premium, so you do end up having to pay a little bit more for it. Lots of people complain about being cold at night. Again, if you're cold at night, that's going to keep you from basically being comfortable. And if you're not comfortable at night, you're not going to have energy for the following day. So spend the money, make sure you get yourself a good sleeping bag. If not, make sure you have tons of extra thermal wear that you can wear when you go to bed and keep yourself warm. I just have a small cig bottle. Again, it's in this bag here because it depends. Sometimes I just use these at night time. I may not actually hike with them. Cigs are great. You can fill them with hot water. They do let the heat radiate through. You can put it down at the bottom of your sleeping bag. Keep your toes nice and warm. Another trick is that you can wrap damper socks or damper towels or whatever around them and actually use the cig to dry it for you. I've got another little bag here that's filled with little self-warmers, the toe warmers and the hand warmers. These are great on summit night. Sometimes people like to wear them when they go to bed. It gets you over that first little bit to get you to sleep, keeps your toes nice and warm. One of the other tricks with these is that you can take them, peel the sticky part off, and put them on the back of a cell phone, put them on the back of a camera, or other batteries, and they will keep your devices functioning longer when it comes to the summit. You'll find that on summit, cell phone batteries, etc., die very quickly the colder they get. So sticking one of those on the back of your phone will actually increase the battery life. Another stuff sack here. This one just kind of has some miscellaneous gear in it. I've got insulated tubing for my camelback system, so I'll be using this on the tail end of the climb. Really, you don't need to bring one or the other. You can use insulated tubing at the lower levels too. I bring it just as a backup. These are nice to have. These are just the kind of tinfoil style thermal blankets. If you do get, again, they're good in emergency situations, but you shouldn't encounter any of those on the mountain. But if you do get extremely cold, you can throw these inside of your sleeping bag. They do crinkle a lot, but they will keep you warmer, so that is something that you can bring. Just some of my charging cords here. Tent rope, again, you can use these, string them between tents, string them inside your tent, start hanging your clothes to dry, etc. Just all around hiking and camping gear. My repair kit for my mattress. Another brush. This one I use actually for my boots. So every night when I'm done my hike for the day, I take my day hiking boots and I give them a good brush down. Make sure that the soles, the grips are all cleaned out, that there's no rocks that are gouged in there, and then clean off any of the dirt that's on the actual boot part. And this is a total a geek spoil thing. Basically, this is just a portable battery pack for your electronic gear, a USB charger. So again, quite often you're taking cameras, cell phones, that whole range of things. So having this is a great little piece. What is unique about this one is on the back is that you just flip an arm, and this is actually a generator. So 30 seconds of cranking the generator will give you about 30 seconds of charge time on an iPhone. But what I do like about it is that really by having this, at no point in time should I ever need any of my electronic devices. I always will have power no matter how long I'm basically on my hike for. So that's just kind of a miscellaneous right there. And the last bag of kind of gear here, this is my snack bag. So one of the things, most of the outfitters will provide you with breakfast, lunch, dinner, all of your main meals, but you are going to want to bring snacks in between meals. What you will find that's quite interesting is when you bring 7 days worth of snacks, Cliff Bars, or anything along those lines, you're going to find that it actually weighs a lot. So to throw in some energy packs or whatever, it weighs a lot. What I do is I take each day and I have a pre-packed snack pack. What this does is it basically brings me 6 or 7 Ziploc bags, which I'm going to use as I basically consume my snacks. I then take this bag and then I use this bag for either garbage, or I use it for my dirty clothes for the day, etc. So this is how I bring some of them. And then what it does is it just keeps my bag nice and clean. It's really easy at the end of the day. I just grab one of these, throw it into my pack, I'm ready to go for the following day. For myself, I've got a mixture in here. I've got some banana chips, I've got some energy gels, I've got some Clif bars, etc. Really, it all depends on what you're comfortable and used to eating on the trail. But you will be surprised with how much your snacks can weigh. So that's all I'm going to include in this particular video. I'm going to do another video next, which I'm going to focus on my clothes, and then my last video will be my day pack. So that's it as far as almost all my non-clothing gear that I'll have inside of my porter pack.